What's up everyone, it's Edwin. I know it's been a while, but I'm back now, and we have Onision to thank for that.
Edwin's generation is out of his fucking mind. He's like the nastiest troll.
I've made a few videos in the past documenting his lies, manipulation, and general mistreatment towards the young women in his life. However, the good news is that this video gets to be a lot less serious. Recently, Onision demanded that I do a live stream with him. And the backstory to that sentence alone is so comical that it would be selfish of me not to share all the email and tweet exchanges with you guys. So let's cut right into the cake. It all started when I replied to a Twitter video from the YouTuber Repzion dedicated to Onision.
You made a YouTube video outing something that was very personal to them that they only confided with you and another person with. You think it's a pro-life, pro-choice debate. It's not. It's called common decency when it comes down to people confiding in you about their personal struggles.
Right, so the context of this is actually worse than it sounds somehow, but you know, leave it to Onision to keep one-upping himself. So Onision had been making a bunch of posts on Twitter with his really hot takes on pro-choice, which, you know, that on its own is one thing. However, Onision is using this stance to humiliate a girl that he dated 4 years ago. And like Repzion said, this is not the first time that he's done this. 3 years ago, back when he wasn't so universally disliked, he made a video completely outing this private detail of his ex-girlfriend Billie's life.
I expressed extreme details regarding relationships that I've been in prior, and I expressed these extreme details because I'm not afraid of the truth.
He did this because he wanted to get back at her because she didn't want to be a part of his three-way relationship with his husband, at the time, wife.
So you want to hide in the darkness? You want me to hide your secrets? Then don't date us. I'm an open book. The fact that I'm extremely brutally honest about the relationships I've been in was all over YouTube. And yet you ignored that and then of course act like the victim as if you didn't know what you were getting into.
I told you, man, the more context you get, the more warped this whole thing is. Because at the time, he was 30 and she was 19. And again, this is the same girl that he cheated on his then wife with.
Life after allegedly cheating on my wife.
What the? And let me remind you, this is the same girl that he puppeteered his own, at the time, wife to date. Someone asked Lainey on Twitter, I don't want to sound offensive, but why did you have a girlfriend in the first place if you were married? And Lainey said, because Greg consistently asked me to have one, even though I didn't want one. When I came out, he suggested this idea. Even when I said I was open to it, I didn't want two significant others. He coordinated this girl to fly over to his house and for them to date, only for him to cheat on his then wife with the 18-year-old girl. Oh my God, the more detail. I'm not even gonna get into all the weird texts where he wanted to chain her up in his basement and all that stuff and for her to tattoo. I'm not getting into that.
You wanted to chain me up in your basement.
And then I specify that she would be chained up by the neck. And this is all because she lied to us. She would have a sign hanging around her neck, apologizing to Lainey for betraying her yet again. So Lainey would take her back. And I know what a lot of you are thinking. This is super abusive shit. Actually, it's super hot. I'm sorry that you're not into the 50 Shades of Grey kind of thing. That sucks for you.
And to top it all off, last year, Onision said that he considers him outing Billie's abortion to be the worst thing he's ever done.
Oh, I publicly told people that my ex had an abortion. That was the worst thing I ever did.
That's in public.
Alright, so I think you guys have enough context to Repzion's Twitter video. So I replied to Repzion's tweet and I said, calm, rationally high roast, well served. Because Repzion was high in his little Twitter video. Now before I get into the lovely interactions between Onision and myself, I want to thank Surfshark VPN for sponsoring this video. That's right, I have a sponsor! Oh boy, Onision's gonna love this. Surfshark is one of the fastest growing and most popular VPN services on the market right now. When they reached out to me, I was excited to partner up with them because for one, the apps are really easy to use. For two, they have a lot of great features. For three, it's very good price. With over 1,700 servers in 63 countries, not only does Surfshark encrypt your data and help keep you anonymous by masking your IP address, but you can also stream content not available in your country, like Titans on the British Netflix. Oh man, I love my superhero shows. Some of you may remember they actually sponsored me last year, and I mentioned this being one of my favorite features. I'm in a long distance relationship, and sometimes me and Mina, my girlfriend, we watch Netflix together. And her Netflix from Britain has different shows than mine. Before Surfshark, we would literally just hope that a movie was on both American and British Netflix, because if it wasn't, we were just like, dang it, we have to watch something else. Now, one of the best features that Surfshark has to offer, definitely a feature that sets it apart from all the other VPNs that other YouTubers might be trying to offer you, is that with just one subscription, you can connect as many devices as you want. So at the same time, you can have your PC, your phone, your sister's phone, your girlfriend's phone, your girlfriend's boyfriend's phone, which that's my phone. No other VPN allows this, so this is basically like a Surfshark exclusive. If you want to sign up for Surfshark, I strongly recommend using my coupon code because it'll give you 83% off of the 2-year package, and you'll also get 3 additional months for free. Yo, we love deals here. That's why I called the coupon code Edwin's deal. All right, let's sign you up here. And if you don't like the service, then just cancel before the first month is over and you get all your money back. I signed up for Surfshark with my own code, and ever since last year, I never looked back, you know, like a shark with no neck. I didn't turn around. Once again, a huge thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring this video, and thank you to those of you who can support them, because then they support me and y'all support the channel, and I can eat. Now, moving on from a service that aims to protect your privacy to the man that does not quite understand the concept of privacy. Let's see what Onision had to say.
Until you two dumb fucks agree to do charity live stream and stop having conversations in literal echo chambers, there's really not that much else to say to you. People like you paint people predators without evidence or merit and run when challenged.
Homie sounds mad. And like he hasn't seen my videos. Let's be real. You do big talk about live streams, but always wanting to be strict to your terms. Took tips from Hansen? I'd be down to have a stream where we match a donation to a charity. We could do $100 to $1,000. Donations should be on us if this is about flexing your altruistic muscles, not viewers.
What the literal fuck? There are no terms, you dumb fuck. You were the one who tried to schedule one a month out, and I called you slow. Do I need to bring up the emails? How about this? You, me, live tonight, no rules. Charities TWLOHA, managed by YouTube, not me.
So I quote tweeted him and said, Onision, there are no terms, you dumb fuck. Also, Onision, live stream tonight, no rules. I already picked the charity. Huh. Well, excuse me while I don't drop everything to live stream with Onision tonight. But let's talk about his tweet right there, because you guys know how I like to give backstory and context to everything. This isn't the first time that Onision has challenged me or other YouTubers to go on a live stream with him.
I'm retiring my face from my videos.
Onision went through a phase where he decided he didn't want to show his face anymore, so instead he uploaded art videos, 3D animation videos, and videos with this mask on.
I invite Edwin's Generation. I invite Repzilla. You all now have the opportunity to interview me.
Now, by the time he challenged me to do this live stream interview with him, I had already moved on to a different topic, you know, and I like to really focus in and work my hardest at the videos that I'm currently doing. So I was like, hold on, I need to finish these projects, and then maybe I can focus in on this live stream interview that you want to do, right? So I told him, look, in a month, I'll prepare. And that's when he said, why are you so fucking slow? And I remembered we're dealing with a man baby. And that's what I mean when I say he wants to be on his terms, you know? Because in the beginning, it's not that nobody wanted to hear his side or interview him. It's just that he was making himself out to be super exclusive. He had denied Insider an interview unless they paid him out quite a hefty amount. Same deal with Philip DeFranco.
Any involvement regarding interview or questions is $10,000. Now, obviously, I found that to be a ridiculous request.
And of course, the same deal with Chris Hansen.
He said he would do so, but he wanted $350,000.
The narrative was completely against them, and if there's one thing that makes Onision's pickle tickle, not in a good way, it's not being in control of the narrative. This is why he eventually said yes to an interview from Keemstar.
I find myself defending Onision because, quite frankly, no one else will.
I don't even know if you could call it an interview as much as just a Keemstar video with Onision's voice constantly talking.
Drinking openly, having
Sarah,
live streams or whatever.
Wait, I gotta cut you off real quick.
She's dancing and enjoying every single
I know, but I gotta cut you off real quick because Sarah...
He'll talk over anyone to force his point across, and Keemstar was the perfect person to take him on an interview because he didn't really challenge him on much at all.
Yeah, but...
Maybe she removed the retweet.
Okay, I saw a tweet and she was just basically.
And additionally, this is something crazy about Sarah, right? So she says that Kai is her best friend in the world, and she actually tweeted like I think a month ago or something that she still has love for Kai, and like she's so fucking back and forth, just like someone with BPD would be with Kai, because she knows Kai didn't do shit.
Trust me, a lot of these girls, the victims have a lot of problems.
She's just trying to hurt Kai. She's just trying to hurt Kai to hurt me.
The man is on a perpetual power trip and needs to be in control. Honestly, nobody really remembers what happened to Onision after that. That's actually kind of when people stopped paying attention to Onision. I mean, he opened an OnlyFans and people were like, oh my god, take it down. Meanwhile, YouTubers were like, he did what? Oh, hell yeah, let's react. It wasn't until people stopped caring about Onision and stopped making videos about him that he was like, why does nobody care about me anymore? That means I'm innocent, right? Alright, so let's get back to the tweets. He replied to my tweet where I said, excuse me while I don't drop everything to live stream with Onision tonight, and he said,
oh, I'm sorry. You need a little time to prepare. Not ready to face the big bad Onision. Also, problem with the charity TWLOHA? Or speed up, you slow fuck. Put up or shut up. Let's go.
LMAO, I swear I don't often have plans, but this is the one night where I already told my brother I would go to his place for his fiance's birthday. If you can keep your little boner in your pants, I can't believe I said that, till tomorrow, we could possibly work that out. What are your thoughts?
Oh, fun. All right. I'll just email you a link right before, say, 10 a.m. PST. Charity, to write love on her arms. Donations will be handled entirely by YouTube. It's automatic. Just research YouTube's giving program. Excited!
Then 3 minutes later, he sent me an email saying, confirming this is an email I sent a link to tomorrow just before 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Oh, okay, so it's settled. Once again, always gotta be on your terms or you start flipping. Homie, we can compromise or it doesn't have to happen. The time should be agreed on before announcing it, LOL. Because seriously, he's just like, I'll give you a link to the live stream at around 10 a.m. Homie, I'm not awake yet. My sleeping schedule sucks. And I'm definitely not waking up early to make an exception on my sleeping schedule for you. I can't be tired for this. I need to meditate. Also, the thing I ask is that we match a donation prior to the stream. Let's keep it in the emails. I said this because it was confusing to not even having replied to him in the email yet, and he's making a spectacle on Twitter. But honestly, I was a fool to expect any different. I emailed him saying, I ain't awake at 10 a.m, lol. How about 3 or 4 p.m? And to be clear, we must match a donation. I believe the donation should be on us, not a viewer or any sort of fundraiser. I wanted to reiterate this because I feel like he pretended he didn't see it the first time around. He replied to my email saying, I'm really confused. I've already raised over $500 for charity on my channel.
I don't know why you were demanding money from me specifically when my efforts have already raised money for charity, making me literally a fundraiser for charity / volunteering my time / work. So what is your logic? Just show up, dude. Stop making terms only to criticize me about terms. We'll send you a link at 3:30 p.m. tomorrow. I'll handle all the technical shit. Sound good?
Yes, you've raised money, but have you donated this money? What I'm proposing is that we both donate anywhere from $100 to $1,000 to a charity instead of asking viewers to donate. Our efforts will directly put money in the charity. That is my logic. I'm telling you my terms just as you've had yours. If you don't want to compromise, then this doesn't need to happen, lol. Are you live streaming on your channel as well? Because if so, you can go ahead and set yours to be a fundraiser. All I'm saying is what's wrong with both of us making it extra charitable and donating from our own funds? Agree to that and I'm down.
Oh, I get it. You were trying to donate, say, $100, then still get donations on your live stream, so you were essentially paid back for the money you just lost. While I'm over here live streaming just for charity, not taking donations for myself, and on top of that, lose money donating my own money to charity too? With your method, how do we even prove we've donated?
A screenshot will do.
With my method, all donations are public, from the viewers, and guarantee the stream is not about us profiting, but rather the truth coming out. Why the fuck are you complicating this? Everyone else who showed up understood this basic concept. Just click the link I send you. And YouTube's giving program will handle all the donations, so no fraudulent whatever the fuck you were proposing happened. Cool? 3:30 p.m. tomorrow?
And straight away, Onision shot out this next tweet.
Is this motherfucker really being a greedy snake right now by finding a way for him to still take donations / ad revenue for himself during our charity stream? Or am I on crack?
You're on crack. And as you can see, he attached the screenshot of our email conversation. And notice how it reads 0 minutes ago? While he was typing his email, he knew that he was gonna publish it to a tweet. And that's why I said earlier that I was a fool to think that he wouldn't make a show out of this. But guess what, Onision? I'm producing the sequel.
We do not take donations for anything but charity, or we don't fucking stream, Edwin. I'm not going to be doing a charity stream on my channel while you take donations for yourself on yours. You don't need to make any more money off the back of victims.
This is how I know the homie either hasn't seen my videos or he's just playing dumb. Or it could be both. I haven't made money off of victims. I've made money off of the videos that I've done documenting your stupidity, your manipulation, your shitty behavior towards the young women in your life, like I said in the beginning, and you, sir, are not a victim. I emailed them back saying, we donate before we go live. Does the idea of me receiving donations bother you? You could have just said that then. I could disable super chats for the show. I don't think this is complicated at all. We both donate $500, share receipts, and click start streaming. Sounds simple to me, smiley face. To which Onision replied,
holy fuck, dude. Why the fuck are you doing this? Why are you just trying to get out of the live stream? You want me to just cough up $500 for what? I've already raised $500 for charity. Why the fuck do I need to pay just to publicly point out how fucking uneducated / ill-informed you are? So now obviously because you are demanding I pay $500, I gotta say, no dude. And then you can be like, ha! I gave him a chance and he backed out! Because I literally just wanted to continue doing non-profit live streams as is. Why the fuck are you so manipulative / evil like this? What is so fucking hard about just showing up and defending your position against me? Why do you mock me on Twitter for having Hanson-like terms and then demand I pay $500 just to do the charity live stream? Jesus fucking Christ. I guess you win! You don't have to do the stream now because I won't cough up money to do what was supposed to be something as simple as you clicking on a fucking link. Allowing the audience to donate to charity, and speaking your piece. God damn. Tell you what, I'll send you a link tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. to do a live stream. And if you don't show up, oh well, I'm not spending $500 just to talk to you. Fuck you, our manipulative slime. Jesus. Sending the link tomorrow. Show up or not, you fucking set the time. It's for charity. You're an asshole.
What the fuck, dude? I can't believe I just read all this. Again. But Onision took an L for once. Hell yeah. Who else can say they defeated Onision by his own admission? But of course, it did not end there, ladies and gentlemen. To my surprise, Onision decided to share his defeat on Twitter. He once again took a screenshot of the email conversation immediately after hitting send to tweet this out.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. Finally get someone to agree to stream for charity and they demand $500 just to get them to face me live. What the actual fuck, Anti-O? You people are fucking shit.
I mean, he took the L, so that was surprising, but of course he took it like a sore loser and tried to force a narrative that I demanded he pay $500 to face me live. I originally proposed donating $100 to $1,000, but if that bracket was too big for you, you could have just said so. We could have gone for $10 each, you know, that's 20 bucks, bro. Something is something for charity. It all makes a difference. However, if you just didn't want to pay, then all right. Why didn't you say so from the beginning? The whole charity idea was yours in the first place. So if anything, I was trying to help you look good, bro. Be like, yo, Onision donated himself his own money, guys. That's great. But of course, I could smell the virtue signaling all the way from your toilet in Washington. Ugh. Onision wants those bragging rights of being able to say that he raised X amount of money. And of course, having another YouTuber on would up the viewers and up the chances of having a larger amount of money that he raised for charity, right? He can make himself look like such a good person again. And I'm sure it works on some people, but on me, not so much, mijo. So I quote tweeted him and said, Onision really doesn't want to donate to charity. And I attached a screenshot of our conversation where I'm clarifying that I could disable super chats and we could donate before streaming. Then he quote tweeted me and said,
why didn't you post the full screenshot, slime?
He also sent me an email saying,
why didn't you post the full screenshot? Fuck, you are truly a scumbag fraud.
And he also replied to my actual tweet and said,
post the full screenshot, fraud.
He asked me to post a full screenshot of our conversation, even though he had just done that, and I had quote tweeted him so people could see it. So I said to him, the full screenshot wasn't your tweet that I quote tweeted. I was only showing my response, disproving that I'd accept the stream out of greed. You guys think he gets it, right?
Tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. PST, we'll be taking on all challengers on Uh-Oh Bro. Edwin is a fucking coward who demanded I pay $500 just to face him in debate. So I'm opening the invitation to everyone who has a spine and isn't a slimy rat like Edwin is. Let's raise some money for charity.
No mama's way. Even though he took the L like a sore loser, he still told me in the email that he would send me a link to go on the live stream with him at 3:30 the next day. However, he didn't even do that. Now keep in mind, this entire time, I have no idea what he wants to live stream with me about. Not only that, but he also ended up going live at 11 a.m. instead of 3:30 p.m. So even if I wanted to surprise him, he changed everything about the entire thing.
So let's start off by this. I started as a fan, right? I started as someone who used to watch your videos.
You were never a fan because you're a fucking backstabbing traitor who listens to rumor.
I'm debating you. I am debating you.
Well, don't call yourself a fan if you're gonna stab someone in the back.
I'm not a fan. I said I used to be.
Yeah, you were not a fan.
Damn, homegirl can't even finish a sentence without Onision being like, blood oath or it doesn't count. Which is kind of ironic because he titled his live stream, Onision takes on anti-Onision cult.
You were not a fan because when you are a fan of someone, you support them through thick and thin. You don't just backstab them because someone spreads rumors.
Yeah, but you have to take accountability for some shit. You can't just say
what am I taking accountability for?
Man, at this rate, it's only a matter of time before Onision makes his last few remaining fans sign contracts, and you know the first thing he's gonna say, "Thou shalt not speak ill of Onision." If you're wondering, that's basically what you missed in a nutshell. It's an hour long of mostly that.
You guys, Antio has a fucking person on their side who admitted to committing a crime live, and then they said they were just fucking joking, but they still did the exchange. So how is that not a fucking crime?
Now this is the one part from the entire live stream that I actually thought was kind of interesting. He's saying that last year, when he was 33 and Sarah was 18, he apparently had a discussion where he wanted her to sign an NDA, and she extorted him because she would only sign it if he slept with her. And if he didn't sign this NDA and sleep with her, then she could ruin his life.
If you say to a person, I can destroy your life if I want to, and then later on you say, I'm only going to sign an agreement where I won't destroy your life with lies if you have sex with me, and then they have sex with you as a result of your force through sexual extortion.
Onision is recalling the time when he wanted Sarah to sign a contract, and he said to her, I feel like this is the last big challenge before our lives become what we want it to be. He said something along the lines of being sorry for being so rude to her all these years, and that he hoped that she would understand why he had to distance himself from her, and that he was glad that he could finally feel comfortable being real and end the rudeness with her. Definitely not suspicious at all.
You're forced through sexual extortion, and then you
say... Was she underage?
No, she was 18 and a half. She says it herself. She was beyond 18 and a half when it happened.
But were you talking to her before? Like before she became 18?
I told her specifically I was not interested in her.
Now, Onision's side of the story is that Sarah would only sign the NDA if they slept together. And Sarah's side of the story is that she initially didn't want to sign the NDA, but Onision said him and Kai were having everyone sign one, so she agreed to signing the NDA, but not before making this damning comment, which is obvious proof of extortion.
Well, I want a clause in there that says, like, if I sign, I want something I'm actually signing for. I basically was like, oh, you know, only if we do stuff will I sign the papers. It was a fucking joke!
And it makes even less sense when you consider the fact that when Onision first heard Sarah say that, he thought it was kinky.
We're having people sign NDAs, I hope you can sign it. She's like, well, only if I get what I want. And she was implying sex. And at the time, it seemed like, oh, that's kinky. That's kinky. Haha, kinky, whatever.
NDA kinks? Is that a...
It's whatever. It's like 50 Shades of Grey kind of kinky shit.
Huh, that sounds familiar.
Actually, it's super hot. I'm sorry that you're not into the 50 Shades of Grey kind of thing.
But even more revealing is Onision saying that since Sarah was so loyal and quote-unquote ooh-woo towards Kai, that he wanted Sarah to fill in the gap that Billie had left in the three-way relationship.
See, this is the problem with it, is it's so fucking difficult to have you there and have this person constantly ooh someone, and having this other person who leaves your life, who you're in a polyamorous relationship with, Billie, and having no one fill in that gap.
And yes, that is the same Billie mentioned in the beginning of this video. Apparently she left such a deep hole in Kai's soul that Onision is desperate to fill it back up.
And this person becomes an adult, and so you stop treating them like shit, and you stop saying, oh, you gotta stay away from me because you're not an adult, yada, yada, yada. And then they try to warm up to you because they know that now they have a chance because they're an adult, and because there's no illegality to it, and they've shown all this loyalty or whatever to you, and all this crazy shit. And so you're sitting here going, well, you know, I'm trying to find this person to make my significant other happy, I'm trying to find someone to complete their life. And this person is legal. This person has done everything they can to show that they care about this other person.
Oh, but that's not the first time Onision revealed that he wanted Sarah to be the third member of his relationship with Kai.
And the whole point of us being mono-mono was so we could actually like eventually all come together and be a poly relationship. And I realized that she didn't care about the other person. And the whole point was to care about that other person
Checkmate, homie. Now my question is, how did Sarah extort you into sleeping with her when the NDA was your idea, you signed it, you had her sign it, so technically speaking, you both consented to this unwritten term of sleeping together. Unless it is in the contract, then that'd be interesting to see, huh? But even when we put ourselves in that mindset, we have to then assume that Onision only signed his own NDA under duress, you know, like against his own will, which would then imply that he is hiding something, but that's not the story he's going with. So it's such a weird multi-directional argument that doesn't make any sense, especially when you consider the fact that the first time that they slept together was when Onision was getting freaky with Kai and he invited Sarah to come over.
And then we were watching a movie again one night, and like I look over and I see Greg and Kai like making out, which they'd done in the past, like made out with me on the bed, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. They're like, I'm gonna watch the movie. And then I looked back and they were like actively having sex. So I just decided to like mind my own business and not say anything, just like keep my eyes on the movie. And then Greg kind of pulled me in and told me to start doing stuff with them.
He pressured them to all sleep together, dude.
And Kai did nothing. Kai just laid there and received people and wasn't even about it. I've told you things that might get me in trouble as far as pressuring my significant other because I felt bad for Sarah.
And my follow-up question that you're unlikely to answer is, why wouldn't you want Sarah to talk about your relationship with her if you have nothing to hide? Isn't that what you said when it was with Billie? It's funny that the same thing that happened with Billie is happening once again, because you cheated on Kai again with Sarah when Kai went to New Mexico in July 2019. Cheese and rice, man. But seriously, how is it that you're not afraid of the truth, but also you make people sign NDAs?
I expressed extreme details regarding relationships that I've been in prior because I'm not afraid of the truth.
Onision sees himself as a perpetual winner. You know, whether he live streamed with me or not, he already knew that he was gonna force this narrative that Edwin greedy, Edwin evil, Edwin money. And that's why I'm so glad I have a sponsor for this video, because you know homeboy's gonna take the bait. He just wants you to sign up for Surfshark. Damn straight, I want you to sign up for Surfshark. Support the channel.
You got Repzion, you got Edwin's generation, both greedy, disgusting cunts who only make videos so they can make money. That's it.
Now hold on a second here. Just because you made enough money to buy 2 houses, 2 Teslas, pay for your husband's education, etc., by making over 70 videos on Eugenia Cooney and a bunch more rating young girls' bodies and guessing their ages, it doesn't mean that people that make videos on you share that same incentive you are very familiar with called greed. But nice try, doofus. Do me a favor and look away from the mirror next time you're trying to criticize others.
Like Edwin's generation, he was gonna do a live stream with me, right? And then he said I gotta pay $500 to charity just to talk to him so he could get out of the fucking live stream.
Isn't it interesting to see how he desperately twists the narrative after I've just shown every single exchange that I had with him? You know what? I actually really like what's going on, because what we're witnessing here is the perfect example of projecting. He is projecting himself onto me. He's saying that I wanted $500 to get out of an interview. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like the guy that literally asked for $10,000 from Philip DeFranco, otherwise he would not speak to him? Huh, interesting. And then what did he say early, that I was doing videos solely for money? I mean, I already listed a few examples about how he does that, but how about the fact that he solely does videos talking about the constant failures in his relationships for views? He literally has no issue admitting that.
People who are career YouTubers need to pay their goddamn bills. And on top of that, they want to deliver you content that you're interested in watching, so we continue feeling like we're not failures. You may wonder why I make so many serious videos about my personal life. Well, gee whiz, Sherlock, look at the views on this video, and this video, and this video, and this video. You people asked for it.
Oh man, we got this motherfucker down. It's like he thinks he's talking to me, but he's talking to a mirror.
And then I was like, okay, but how am I? He said he was gonna stream it on his channel, and I had to fucking tell him, are you monetizing it on your channel? And I had to tell him about his monetization for him to not monetize it on his own channel.
Oh, so I had a master plan all along, back when I tweeted at Repzion? It feels like Onision's trying to force me into a puzzle, but I'm the piece that just won't fit. I mean, before I even tweeted at Repzion, Onision was already laying down the groundwork for his narrative about how commentary channels are drunk on money. As I was finishing up this video, Onision did a live stream talking about how Twitch took away his partnership. But that's not all he talked about, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, play it.
What do you guys think of that? Edwin's generation tried to, I said, let's do a live stream for charity. And he said, how about we each ourselves donate to charity and we don't do the actual live stream for charity? And I'm like, so you're gonna monetize the live stream for yourself and you're gonna donate? That seems like a fucking scam.
Look, English is my second language and sometimes I can be a little slow, like Onision said in one of his many deleted tweets. So I want to ask you honestly, did I not make myself clear to Onision like what I was trying to say? Because I think I made myself pretty fucking clear. This dude is really trying to paint me as a greedy one because I suggested that we both donate money so we could lead by example for others to donate to the charity live stream. Okay, I'm the greedy one, right? This is the same dude that asked for money in order to be interviewed in the beginning, right? Because he did say if people are making money off of his controversy, he felt like he deserved money.
This is why I'm demanding people like pay me to be on their show. Because they're making money.
So I literally said to him back in January that I would interview him, and if money mattered so much to him, I would give him all the AdSense from this interview video. I don't even know if I'm ready to say this out loud, but Onision, if you'd be down to do an interview with me, I would give you all of the AdSense money on that video. If that's what drives you to do an interview, fine. But it's gotta be fair, and I will try to get receipts on all ends and make it as fair as possible. I wanted to have a fair interview, and I was even willing to pay him every single cent that video earned. And this motherfucker trying to paint me as a greedy one because I wanted to share his side of the story on my channel. This motherfucker is so fucking stupid. Jesus Christ.
If I'm gonna talk about it, I want to be paid because you're being paid. And that's where you find no one willing to pay because this is all about money. They don't want to lose money, they want to gain money. So they're not gonna pay me because that would mean they're losing money. Nobody actually wants the real story unless it means they make money.
I will show you screenshots every 2 weeks or whatever of the money that this video is earning, and I'll send you PayPal, bro. This is fucking priceless, dude. This dude just spends everything. It's so, oh my god. Bitch, I didn't forget. I almost did though, to be honest.
Edwin's generation then says, okay, so I'm gonna do this live stream just like we agreed, but you have to give $500 to charity. And I'm like, bitch, I've never made $500 from any stream ever.
The whole live stream was his idea, okay? He wanted to do it. I said, all right, let's do it tomorrow, okay? I have some time tomorrow. And then he wants to do it for charity, and I'm like, okay, well, look, if you really want to be charitable, how about we donate? Anywhere from $100 to $1,000. He says, no, I'm already donating my time. And you probably just want donations. I'm like, I can disable the donations. He says, no, I don't want to do this anymore. What, because I suggested us donating? Like, dude, if you don't want to donate, you could have just said that. But honestly, in that case, just take down the whole fundraiser thing, dude. Otherwise, it's just disingenuous. If you want to have a conversation, why don't we just have a conversation? Why do you have to involve money in the first place? It's like you put yourself on the I'm a charity live stream versus Edwin, he could have gotten donations. He's the greedy one. We could just talk, you know, because obviously you wanted it all to be a spectacle. So let's fucking make it a spectacle. Oh, and what's that? Your balls are shriveling? That's what I thought.
I would be losing money just to talk to you.
Notice how he said he'd be losing money when I suggested that we should lead by example and donate ourselves?
I would be losing money just to talk to you. And he's like, well, I guess Onision doesn't care about charity. It's like, bitch, you're just afraid of fucking talking to me because you don't have any points. That's literally it.
That's cute. Onision trying to act like a tough guy in 2020. Okay, he's trying to act like I'm the one scared, even though he's the one that literally took the L. He gave me the W in his email. And to say I have no points implies that he's either not seen my videos or that he's willfully ignorant to the points in my videos, because damn, there is a lot of points, even in this video. Jesus Christ.
If you are a person who has a household to pay for, right? And your means of paying for it is your time, why would you give up your time without being compensated for that if you're being honest, sincere, transparent, and so forth?
See, in his mind, when he's doing a live stream, he's donating his time. He's doing charity just by doing that alone, which is fine. I'm just saying, take off the fundraiser. You want me to take off super chats? I have no problem doing that, but you can't take off the fundraiser? Why can't we just do a talk? You know what I mean? All right, dude.
If you have an opportunity to monetize something that you're already doing anyway, it's much more intelligent to monetize that than to just do it for free and watch your whole financial structure collapse on itself.
Onision is the ultimate narcissist, and I think that's a large part of the reason why people keep tuning in to the story of Onision. Because there are plenty of guys and even gals out there that share his manipulative and ever-justifying abusive behavior, but not as many that publicly parade it in the way that he does. I think the fact that so many people can relate to having dealt with someone like Onision gives them a sort of vicarious pleasure of seeing him be put in his place when they watch a video like this one. Again, myself included, you know, it's like I said in the beginning, I felt like it would have been selfish of me not to share these exchanges with him because it's just too ridiculous. And it's so fun to see him be put in his place. It makes us feel good. People like to generalize drama as something negative, but I think in the grand scheme of things, something like this, I think there's something that makes us feel good about it, you know, because for so long, Onision was powerful and influential and could intimidate people. And now when he insults me, it's a hilarious soundbite.
Oh, I hate Edwin. He's a terrible person.
Alright, I think I fed you guys enough speeches throughout this entire thing. But if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And I cannot wait to move on to the next topic. I am a little slow like Onision says, and as you guys can tell by my upload schedule, so I'm not sure when it'll come, but we'll have another video real soon. I just don't know when. I want to give a big fat shout out to my homie Boblax, the voice you guys heard reading Onision's tweets and emails. I think he added the right amount of spice this video needed. If you guys missed my live streams that I used to do on this channel, I do them all on my other channel, Homeboy's Got Receipts, so if you guys want to subscribe, you can check them out there. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. This one took me a while because I'm slow because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and even though I'm a perfectionist, doesn't mean that I get it all perfect, okay? I still make my errors, but I spend a lot of time in my videos. See, now I'm ranting. I'm really bad at ending videos. Anyways, Onision's a bitch with shriveled up balls. Let's go. Peace out.
By the way, I fucking hate Edwin's generation. Let's just make that clear. I think he's a little pussy rat.